Howdy, Aaron Boster here with the Ohio Health MS Center, talking to you today about exercise in MS. Simply put, exercise is critically important for someone with multiple sclerosis. Research has made it very clear that regular exercise helps people with MS across the board. Energy levels, cognition, brain volume, or slowing brain shrinkage. It improves mood in MS. It consolidates sleep in MS. It prepares us as well. It's prehabilitation. Think about this for a second. If I took someone with MS and I cloned them, now there's two of them, and I give clone A chocolate cake and Days of Our Lives television, and I give clone B an elliptical and carrots, and we get back together in 2 years. Clone A is out of shape, has gained excessive weight, has a weak core, weak legs, is off balance, and cardiovascular not so good. Clone B, same guy, clone B is in shape. He's a Greek god of sorts. He's got a strong core. He's got strong legs. His cardiovascular is balanced. These things are optimized. Now, they both suddenly have an attack, which manifests as left leg weakness. Clone A is seated in a wheelchair, unable to stand up. Clone B is limping. Which guy do you want to be? Here we allowed someone to be deconditioned, whereas here we prehabilitated clone B, and that's who I want you to be. Tune in for 5 tips to exercise effectively with MS. Tip number 1, use the Wii Fit for better balance. Exercise tip number 1. This one's for folks that need to work on balance. Do you guys remember that game called the Wii Fit? It worked with Nintendo Wii, and it was a platform that plugged in and you set it on the floor and you stand on it. And then you play interactive games where you pretend you're doing a sport or that you're surfing or something, and you have to balance. It's called the Wii Fit. It's been studied and actually found to help people with MS improve clinically and statistically in their balance. And it's super fun. So if you have a Wii Fit in the closet, get it out. And if you don't have a Wii Fit, look around and see if you can find a used one. And it's something that you could use to help your balance. Tip number 2, stretch out 2 to 3 times a day. Tip number 2 is about spasticity. Cramps, muscle spasms, and stiff limbs are very common amongst people with MS. Here in Ohio, it's wintertime, and it's really bad amongst the folks that we're helping take care of. This can interfere with daily function, let alone attempts at exercise. And there's a pattern of behavior that I want to share with you, and that's stretching. I want to challenge you to wake up in the morning, and before you leave your bedroom, spend 5 minutes stretching your legs, stretching your back. Please hold each pose for at least 30 seconds. That's important so that your muscle knows what you're trying to do. And get in the habit of stretching every morning before you leave your bedroom. I also want you to get in the habit of stretching before you enter your bed. So when you get in your bedroom, get in your PJs, stretch out before you get in bed. And then if necessary, for example, during the winter months, you might find that stretching halfway through the day, in the middle of your workday, 5 minutes, is also helpful. And by doing this, you can keep your muscles a bit more limber, and they're less likely to spasm and cramp and tighten up. Stretching, it's underrated, and it's something that you should consider doing 3 times daily. Tip number 3, move the treadmill into the living room. Tip number 3 involves that elliptical machine you have in the basement, or the treadmill, or the rowing machine, or whatever other stationary bike you have. Many of us have one of these in an upstairs bedroom or down in the basement or in the workout room. And they sometimes don't get used very much, or we use them to hang clothes. I challenge you to take that piece of equipment and move it into your living room where your television is. Most red-blooded Americans spend their evening after dinner relaxing before bedtime, maybe watching the television. Many families do this. And I want you to have that treadmill within sight in that room. As you watch television, if there's a commercial, get on the elliptical and just kind of walk for the duration of the commercial. When the commercial's over, sit back down. If you don't have commercials, then every half an hour I challenge you to get on it just for a minute or two and then get off. What'll happen is as you're relaxing in the evening, you'll sneak in sometimes 20, 30 minutes of exercise. Move that old piece of equipment into your living room. Tip number 4, aquatic activities are awesome. Tip number 4, aquatic activities are amazing. Being in the water is extremely helpful for many people trying to exercise with MS. When you're in the water floating there, you weigh less. And so if you have a weak leg, you might be able to hold your weight in the water on that weak leg. You may be able to ambulate in the water when you can't outside of the water. The water does something to spasticity that relaxes it, and so there's less spasms and cramps. And if you're getting hot because you're exercising, by convection, the water pulls the heat off your body. If you're off balance and you're leaning to the left, the water pushes to the right. And so oftentimes, people with MS can be successful in the water when they can't be on land. And it's an outstanding way to exercise. Look into the YMCA or some local area and see if there's a water Zumba class, or if there's open lanes, or if you could just walk laps in the pool. Water can be a very helpful way of exercising with MS. Tip number 5, ditch the high school mentality towards exercise. Last tip number 5 deals with the way that we approach exercise. Many of us were in the heydays of our physicality, involved in sports in high school, maybe in college, maybe not. And oftentimes, we may be revisiting attempts at exercise 10, 20, 30 years since our prime. And we may still have the mentality of a high schooler, if you will, in the way that we approach exercise. That's to be competitive and to always set new goals. It's pretty common to think, okay, well, if I can run 1 mile, I bet I can run 2. And if I was able to lift 150 last time, I'm going to try for 160 this time. The problem is, as we age chronologically, all of us, our functional reserves shorten. And we may not bounce back as quickly, and we may not be able to do what we used to do. And with MS, those functional reserves get even smaller. A good rule of thumb when exercising in MS is if the day after your exercise you can carry on normal activities, then you didn't overdo it. But if you find that the following day you're really not doing well, the next time you exercise, you got to back off. Keep in mind, yes, you could push yourself that day and do more exercise, and you'd get it done, but then you'll pay the devil's price the following day. So you got to get rid of that high school mentality and ask yourself, am I doing too much based on the following day? 5 tips to help exercise with MS. And there you have it. 5 tips to help you be more effective in exercising with MS. Number 1, consider using the Wii Fit for balance. Number 2, try stretching 3 times a day. Number 3, move that old piece of elliptical equipment or treadmill or stationary bike out of that back closet into the living room. Number 4, aquatic exercises are amazing, and exercising in the pool can be highly effective. And number 5, ditch that high school mentality and use different metrics to judge your progression and success. Once again, this is Aaron Boster with the Ohio Health MS Center. Thank you for tuning in and listening. If you found this helpful and you'd like to see more videos like it, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Have a great day.